After age 30, your testosterone levels decline by about 1% every single year. That may not sound dramatic at first, but do the math. By the time you're 50, you could be operating with 20% less testosterone than you had in your physical prime. By 60, it can be 30% or more. And here's the part most people never hear in a doctor's office. It's not just aging, it's modern lifestyle. It's chronic stress, it's poor sleep, it's ultra-processed food, it's low-fat dieting, it's nutrient deficiencies. And most adults are unknowingly suppressing their own hormone production every single day. They blame aging, they blame genetics, they assume it's just normal. But what if I told you that certain foods, backed by real clinical science, can significantly improve testosterone levels? And one of them has been shown in research to increase levels by nearly 48% under the right conditions. I've worked with adults struggling with fatigue, low drive, declining strength, mood instability, metabolic issues, and very often testosterone imbalance is part of the picture. Today, I want to explain something clearly and calmly. Testosterone is not just about libido, it's not just about muscle, it's not just a men's health topic, it's a longevity hormone, and if you misunderstand it or ignore it, you miss a major piece of the aging puzzle. Let's zoom out for a moment. Testosterone influences energy production, motivation and drive, mood stability, muscle maintenance, bone density, red blood cell production, fat distribution, insulin sensitivity, cognitive sharpness. Low testosterone has been associated with increased visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs. It's linked with higher risk of metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, decreased bone density, and reduced physical resilience. So this isn't vanity, this is about strength, vitality, and long-term health. Now here's something critical to understand. Your body does not randomly produce testosterone. It's part of a highly regulated hormonal communication network called the hypothalamic-pituitary-gonadal axis, the HPG axis. Let me simplify that. Your brain sends a signal, specifically gonadotropin-releasing hormone, GnRH. That stimulates the pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone, LH. LH then travels through the bloodstream to the testes in men or ovaries in women and signals them to produce testosterone. If anything interferes with that signaling chain, stress, inflammation, poor sleep, nutrient deficiency, production drops. Now let's talk about raw materials. Testosterone is a steroid hormone, and all steroid hormones are made from one foundational molecule, cholesterol. Yes, cholesterol. Inside your cells, cholesterol is converted into pregnenolone. Pregnenolone then becomes DHEA. DHEA becomes androstenedione and eventually testosterone. So if someone is chronically restricting dietary fat, especially healthy saturated fats, they may be limiting the building blocks for hormone production. Now, that doesn't mean you need to eat excessively or recklessly, but it does mean extreme low-fat dieting can work against hormone balance. Next layer. Micronutrients. Testosterone production depends heavily on zinc, magnesium, vitamin D, selenium, boron, and adequate protein intake. Zinc is required for proper function of the Leydig cells, the cells that actually produce testosterone. Magnesium helps regulate SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which determines how much testosterone is free and active in your bloodstream. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a vitamin and directly influences testosterone synthesis. If you're deficient in these, production suffers. And here's what we see clinically. Many adults are walking around mildly deficient in magnesium and vitamin D. They feel off, but can't quite explain why. Now, let's talk about SHBG for a moment. Testosterone in your blood exists in two main forms: bound testosterone, attached to proteins like SHBG, free testosterone, biologically active and usable. If SHBG levels are high, more testosterone becomes bound and unavailable. Certain dietary patterns, especially very low calorie intake or excessive endurance training, can increase SHBG and reduce free testosterone. So sometimes total testosterone looks normal on a lab test, but free testosterone is low and symptoms persist. Now, let's discuss cortisol for a moment. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It's essential for survival, but chronically elevated cortisol competes with testosterone production. Think of it like this: your body prioritizes survival over reproduction. If you're under chronic stress, poor sleep, work stress, inflammatory diet, overtraining, your body interprets that as a threat environment. And in a threat environment, testosterone production declines. That's biology. Add in chronic inflammation from processed foods, excess sugar, industrial seed oils, and now you're further suppressing the hormonal environment. Now, here's something even more interesting. Body fat plays a hormonal role. Fat tissue contains an enzyme called aromatase. Aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen. The more visceral fat someone carries, the higher aromatase activity tends to be, which means higher body fat equals more testosterone converted equals lower net testosterone. This is why weight management and insulin sensitivity matter so much in hormonal health. And here's where food becomes powerful, because certain foods reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, support micronutrient repletion, provide cholesterol substrate, improve LH signaling, reduce oxidative stress in reproductive tissue, and support healthy body composition. This is not magic, it's physiology. Now, let me address something important. Food alone will not override severe sleep deprivation. Food alone will not fix chronic alcohol abuse. Food alone will not correct untreated medical conditions. But food is foundational, and when combined with proper sleep, resistance training, stress management, and sunlight exposure, the effects become measurable. We have randomized controlled trials showing double-digit improvements in testosterone with specific nutritional interventions. We have studies showing that correcting zinc deficiency alone can restore testosterone to baseline levels. We have data showing that vitamin D repletion increases levels significantly in deficient individuals. We have research showing that low-fat diets reduce testosterone compared to moderate-fat diets. This is not speculation. This is evidence-based physiology. Now, here's the psychological trap many adults fall into. They chase supplements before fixing nutrition. They buy expensive boosters without correcting diet. But supplements cannot compensate for chronic nutritional insufficiency. Think of your endocrine system like a manufacturing plant. If the factory lacks raw materials, the output drops. If the communication signals are disrupted, production drops. If the factory workers are under stress, output drops. Food supports all three. And here's something else I want you to understand. Optimizing testosterone is not about turning yourself into a bodybuilder. It's about preserving metabolic health, musculoskeletal strength, bone density, confidence, motivation, sexual health, resilience under stress. It's about aging with capacity, not decline. And the exciting part, you don't need extreme measures. You need strategic consistency. You need to feed the biological pathways correctly. And in the next section, I'm going to walk you through a structured countdown of foods that have real mechanistic backing. Some support testosterone indirectly by lowering cortisol, some provide critical minerals, some enhance LH signaling, some improve testicular antioxidant status, and the top three are significantly more powerful than most people realize. One of them, under specific conditions, demonstrated nearly a 48% greater increase compared to a control. But here's the key. Context matters. Deficiency status matters. lifestyle matters. I'm going to explain how to use these foods safely, how much to consume, who should avoid them, and how to integrate them practically into your routine, because optimization should be intelligent, not reckless. So now that you understand the biology, now that you understand the signaling, now that you understand the raw materials, let's move into the countdown. And I want you to listen carefully, because the order matters. Now that you understand the biology, the raw materials, signaling pathways, the role of inflammation and stress, let's move into the structured countdown. These foods are ranked not just on popularity, but on mechanistic plausibility, clinical evidence, and practicality. Listen carefully. Some of these work indirectly, some directly stimulate production, and some correct common deficiencies that silently suppress your levels. Let's begin. Coming in at number 10, pomegranate. This one surprises people. Pomegranate isn't a protein food. It's not high in fat. It's not rich in cholesterol. So how does it support testosterone? It works through cortisol and oxidative stress reduction. A controlled human study found that daily pomegranate juice consumption increased salivary testosterone levels by approximately 24% in both men and women over a short intervention period. Here's the mechanism. Pomegranate is rich in polyphenols, powerful antioxidant compounds. Oxidative stress damages Leydig cells, the cells responsible for testosterone production. When you reduce oxidative stress, you improve their functional capacity. Additionally, pomegranate has been shown to lower cortisol levels. Remember, chronically elevated cortisol suppresses testosterone. Lower cortisol equals improved hormonal balance. Pros: improves endothelial function, better blood flow, reduces blood pressure, anti-inflammatory. Cons: juice can contain significant natural sugars, not ideal in large amounts for insulin-resistant individuals. How to use it? 4 to 8 ounces of unsweetened pomegranate juice daily, or half to 1 whole fruit several times per week. Practical tip: consume it post-workout or alongside a protein-rich meal to blunt glucose spikes. Number 9. Ginger. You probably think of ginger as a digestive aid, but in a human study involving infertile men, ginger supplementation increased testosterone levels by approximately 17% after 3 months. That's not trivial. Mechanism: ginger improves antioxidant status in the testes. It increases luteinizing hormone, LH, levels. It reduces inflammatory markers. By improving LH signaling, you stimulate testosterone production upstream at the brain to gonad level. It also enhances blood flow and reduces lipid peroxidation in reproductive tissue. Pros: anti-inflammatory, supports digestion, may improve insulin sensitivity. Cons: high doses may increase bleeding risk. Use caution if on anticoagulants. How to use it? 1 to 3 grams of fresh ginger root daily, or half to 1 teaspoon powdered ginger. Add to tea, smoothies, or cook into meals. Consistency matters more than megadosing. Number 8. Spinach, magnesium-rich greens. Now we move into micronutrient correction. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common, and magnesium plays a direct role in increasing free testosterone. A controlled study found that magnesium supplementation significantly increased free testosterone levels, especially in individuals who exercised. Mechanism: magnesium reduces SHBG, the binding protein that locks testosterone away in an inactive form. Lower SHBG, more free testosterone available. It also supports ATP production, the energy currency of your cells, and improves insulin sensitivity. Pros: supports muscle contraction, improves sleep quality, reduces cramping, supports cardiovascular health. Cons: spinach contains oxalates. Excessive intake may contribute to kidney stones in susceptible individuals. How to use: 1 to 2 cups of cooked spinach daily. Rotate with Swiss chard, kale, or arugula. Now, here's what most people don't realize. If you're magnesium deficient, correcting that alone may produce noticeable improvements in energy and hormonal balance. Number 7. Pumpkin seeds. Small, simple, powerful. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, one of the most critical minerals for testosterone production. In zinc-deficient men, zinc supplementation restored testosterone levels to normal ranges. Mechanism: zinc supports the enzymatic conversion steps required for testosterone synthesis. It also inhibits aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. Additionally, zinc deficiency increases SHBG levels, further reducing free testosterone. Pros: supports prostate health, boosts immune function, contains magnesium and healthy fats. Cons: calorie-dense, easy to overconsume. How to use it: 1 ounce, a small handful, daily. Raw or lightly roasted. Avoid heavily salted versions. Now listen carefully. We're entering the more powerful tier. The next 3 foods have demonstrated double-digit increases in testosterone under specific conditions, and one of the top items has shown nearly a 48% greater increase compared to a control in training studies. So don't tune out now. Number 6. Extra virgin olive oil. This isn't just about heart health. Studies have shown that men who regularly consumed extra virgin olive oil experienced increases in testosterone levels. Mechanism: olive oil improves the function of Leydig cells. It enhances antioxidant defense. It improves insulin sensitivity. Improved insulin sensitivity is critical because insulin resistance suppresses testosterone. Olive oil also contains monounsaturated fats, which are associated with higher testosterone compared to low-fat diets. Pros: reduces inflammation, supports cardiovascular health, improves lipid profile. Cons: calorie-dense, quality matters, avoid refined oils. How to use: 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. Use for low-heat cooking or drizzle over vegetables and protein. Replace industrial seed oils with olive oil. Don't simply add it on top of a poor diet. Number 5. Tuna, vitamin D power. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It functions more like a steroid hormone. Vitamin D receptors exist in the testes. A randomized controlled trial found that vitamin D supplementation in deficient men increased testosterone levels by approximately 20% over a year. Mechanism: vitamin D enhances LH sensitivity. It directly influences steroid genesis. It reduces inflammation. Low vitamin D is extremely common, especially in individuals who spend most of their time indoors. Pros: supports immune health, improves bone density, enhances mood. Cons: tuna contains mercury, limit frequency, avoid daily high intake. How to use: 2 to 3 servings per week. Rotate with salmon, sardines, or mackerel. Also, consider checking vitamin D levels with your physician. Number 4. Brazil nuts, selenium support. Brazil nuts are one of the richest natural sources of selenium. Selenium is crucial for antioxidant defense within reproductive tissue. Mechanism: selenium supports glutathione peroxidase activity, protecting Leydig cells from oxidative damage. It also supports thyroid function, and thyroid health influences overall metabolic and hormonal balance. Pros:
powerful antioxidant, supports sperm quality, supports metabolism. Cons: selenium toxicity is real. Excess intake can cause hair loss, fatigue, and GI upset. How to use: 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day, not more. Now we're about to enter the top 3. These are significantly more potent in terms of direct hormonal substrate and clinical impact, and the number 1 food has shown dramatically greater increases in testosterone when consumed correctly. Let's move there next.
Now we're entering the top tier. These are not just supportive. These provide direct substrate, correct common deficiencies, and in some cases produce double-digit percentage increases under the right conditions. Let's begin. Number 3, oysters. If there were a natural mineral concentrate for testosterone production, oysters would be near the top. 6 medium oysters can provide over 500% of your daily zinc requirement, and zinc is not optional for testosterone synthesis. Clinical evidence shows that zinc deficiency alone can significantly reduce testosterone levels. In one controlled study, restricting zinc intake led to a measurable drop in testosterone within months. Restoring zinc reversed the decline. Mechanism: zinc supports the enzymatic conversion of cholesterol into testosterone. It reduces aromatase activity, meaning less testosterone gets converted into estrogen. It also supports sperm production and reproductive tissue integrity. Pros: extremely nutrient-dense, supports immune function, may improve libido in deficient individuals. Cons: raw oysters carry risk of bacterial contamination, not suitable for immunocompromised individuals. How to use: 1 to 2 servings per week. Lightly cooked is safest. If you don't eat shellfish, zinc-rich alternatives include red meat and pumpkin seeds, but oysters remain one of the most concentrated sources. Number 2, grass-fed red meat. Red meat has been unfairly demonized in certain circles, but moderate consumption of high-quality red meat provides several critical components for testosterone production: cholesterol, zinc, iron, vitamin B12, and saturated fat. Low-fat diets have repeatedly been shown to reduce testosterone levels compared to moderate fat diets. Mechanism: cholesterol serves as the foundational molecule for steroid hormone production. Saturated fat intake has been associated with higher testosterone compared to very low-fat diets. Zinc and iron support enzymatic processes and oxygen delivery. Pros: supports muscle mass, provides creatine, supports red blood cell production. Cons: avoid processed meats. Overconsumption may increase cardiovascular risk in certain populations. How to use: 2 to 3 servings per week. Prioritize grass-fed, minimally processed cuts. Moderation and quality matter. Now, let's talk about the number 1 food. Number 1, whole eggs. Not egg whites, whole eggs. In controlled resistance training studies, participants consuming whole eggs experienced significantly greater increases in testosterone compared to those consuming egg whites alone, in some analyses approaching nearly a 48% greater increase. Why? Because the yolk contains the hormonal power. Mechanism: egg yolks provide cholesterol, the raw substrate for testosterone production. They contain vitamin D, fat-soluble vitamins, and choline. They provide healthy saturated fats that support steroidogenesis. Remove the yolk, and you remove much of the biological support. Pros: affordable, nutrient-dense, easy to prepare, highly bioavailable protein. Cons: individuals with familial hypercholesterolemia should consult their physician. Preparation matters. Avoid deep frying in processed oils. How to use: 2 to 3 whole eggs daily, cooked in olive oil with spinach. Midday, lean protein with pumpkin seeds. 2 to 3 times per week, grass-fed red meat or oysters. fatty fish for vitamin D. Daily, magnesium-rich greens. Manage stress. Sleep 7 to 8 hours. This is not about chasing extremes. It's about restoring biological alignment. And there's something else silently lowering testosterone every single day, and it's not food. It's artificial light at night and sleep disruption. In my next video, I'll explain how your light exposure patterns directly suppress hormonal production and what to do about it. If you care about long-term vitality, energy, and strength, watch that next, because your hormones are listening to everything you do.